그럼 지금부터 수요일 이제 3일차 교육 진행하도록 하겠습니다. 아디아노?
All right, hi everyone. So yesterday we saw a little bit more about types. We saw about sources. We saw about schema types and standard types. And we also saw a little bit about the application builder. So today my goal is to talk about specifically application builder for the next hour. And after that, I want to talk about Veil, the language that we use inside Vantiq. And Chongan, interrupt me whenever you want to, you feel like time to translate. Okay, so we saw how to use our interface to develop. So as we said in the beginning, Vantiq is a low-code platform. So low-code platform means both the capabilities of using pre-created activity patterns, as well as creating some code, but in a very fast way. So instead of writing thousands of lines of code, we can create a lot of work using just a few lines of code. And to be clear on what this application builder does, is that application builder will help us create all those codes without even having to write them. So that makes easier for us to debug because it's visual. It makes us easier to develop because when we are developing using the app builder, we just have to put some information inside the boxes. So let's say I'm gonna put join just to show that I'm gonna explain later. Some of them we just have to put, for example, the application there, and this one doesn't even have anything. Join has some information. So application builder runs on creating, dragging and dropping these activities, and then Vantiq will create the code for us. Just for you guys to see, I'm gonna show this application. It's a little bit bigger. You guys seen this already. So what I'm gonna disable this application. So now the application is not running, it's just designed. If you look at the name Equip app, and I come here and search for Equip app, we'll see just on the application, just the develop application. When I enable this application and I save it, now, oops. So now when I click here and show, you see the application is enabled, and in hidden, there's a lot of the application's components that Vantiq has developed for us. So with this, Vantiq has developed 5 rules, 2 procedures, 9 event streams, and including applications. So this makes us a lot more productive and less error prone.
첫날인가요? 저희가 둘째 날인가 첫날인가 잘 기억 안 나는데 아디아노가 시스템 모델러라는 걸 이용해 가지고서 설계한 다음에 제너레이트 시키니까 어플리케이션 로직이 쭉 만들어진 거 보셨잖아요, 그렇죠? 그런 다음에 거기서 이제 그게 이제 불완전하니까 거기서 이제 약간 수정해 가지고 하는 거 말씀드렸었는데 이제 그것이 가장 기본적인 방법이고, 아니면은 그냥 앱을 바로 이제 만들어 가지고서 개발할 수 있거든요. 근데 이제 보신 것처럼 이제 실제 코딩을 다 하는 게 아니라 계속 누누이 말씀드린 것처럼 액티비티 패턴이라고 하는 정의된 이제 패턴들을 드래그 앤 드롭 형태로 갖다 놓고서 그걸 가지고서 이제 어플리케이션을 만드는 형태를 가져가는 거고, 그 다음에 말씀드린 것처럼 저번에 말씀드린 것처럼 이 패턴이 모든 걸 다 할 수는 없으니까 이제 필요에 따라서는 이제 이 친구가 좀 전에 보여드린 것처럼 프로시저나 룰이나 그런 것들을 만들어 가지고서 이제 부족한 부분을 채워 가지고서 이제 내가 프로그램을 만들어 가는다고 생각을 하시면 될 것 같고, 그다음에 프로시저나 또는 룰 같은 것들을 내가 처음부터 끝까지 다 코딩할 수도 있지만, 그 우리가 기존에 있던 패턴을 보고서 그거가 어떻게 만들어졌는지를 보고서 약간 수정해 가지고 또 새로운 것들을 만들 수도 있잖아요. 그럴 때는 여기 나와 있는 것처럼 그 액티비티 패턴을 드래그 앤 드롭으로 갖다 놓고서 그 아까 보신 것처럼 히든에서 히든을 클릭을 하게 되면 그 히든 안에 이 액티비티 패턴에 대한 코드를 볼 수가 있어요. 그러면 또 우리가 그걸 레퍼런 참조해 가지고서 또 다른 그 프로시저나 룰 같은 것들을 또 손쉽게 만들 수가 있습니다. 그것도 아마 이 친구가 진행하면서 아마 데모를 보여드릴 거예요.
Okay, so now, okay, so now what I'm going to show you is each one of the activities on the application builder, and after this, we're going to go down a little bit on the Veil language. So application builder, we start by adding a new app. So I'm gonna create a new app here. And usually what the first thing we should do is come here in properties and put the name of the app. So I'm gonna put app, oops, name. After this first block that we see, the yellow orange block, is the first event stream activity. Nothing in Vantiq runs without an event. So we need the event stream activity to start our application. So I'm gonna call this one like my first event, and I'm gonna say which resource is gonna become my inbound source. So I'm gonna say it could be a topic, a source, and a type. So topics, as we saw, can be pre-created or could be dynamic. I can come here and write anything, and Vantiq will automatically create for me this topic. I can use a little bit further. This is interesting for us to see. So I'm gonna start with this topic. Then I go to a source or a type. So I'm gonna use this topic. I copied this write anything, and when I save, Vantiq will show this write anything in here for me. Write anything. So I can come in here and publish something. And again, Vantiq doesn't have a restriction on what I'm publishing. So I can come here and say test, and I'm gonna say 1, 2, 3, and I'm gonna publish. One thing that I can do to save performance or to save resources in Vantiq, I can come here and say that I want only Vantiq to process these events if the event that arrives has a property called, let's say, test, and it's equal to 1 to 3. Let's see if I got it right. I'm gonna clear. So if it's equal to 1 to 3, it should run. It should run perfectly, no issues. If I put something else, it will not run. So you can see the number there doesn't change. Just when I put 1, 2, 3 again, there you go. It changed. So this is a nice step for you to pre-configure what type of event that you wanna work on. But if you don't have any idea, any filters, any conditions to pre-filter, you can just go ahead and leave this blank. This operation and schema doesn't need to be. They're all optional parameters. But if I'm doing a type and I put in and I have to select an inbound resource. So this inbound resource will be one of the types pre-created. So types, they need to be pre-created. I cannot have like a dynamic type. I need to pre-create it. And now all types, they have the schema here. So if I put another one, it will have a schema here. I could even unselected, but it would be silly of me because this helps me to see what's going on. But I could also select a type of operation. I could just be looking for inserts, updates, or both. So if I'm looking for, let's say now, I'm looking for either insert or update, I'm looking for both. So now I'll click OK, save. I'm gonna clear this, and I'll look for this, my type, it's equipo. So as you can see, it got like 5, 10, and it's updating because it's updating. So let's change this. I'm gonna click here. I'm gonna change this only to insert. So I'm not interested in updates. I'm just interested in inserts. So now if I clear the badge, it will keep updating. It will keep updating. You can look at the RPMS in this one up here. It will change, but now if this one won't change at all. But if I come here and I delete everything, so the first time it inserts something, it will generate me these events. And now the next time it changes anything, it doesn't give me any more events. So these are good ways for you to create to start your application. Uh, Another way to start your application is using a source. In my scenario here, I don't have any source, any inbound source. My sources in this scenario here, just the NLP and chatbot are outside sources. Meaning I would have to do some work to get information here. In your lab, you will all create sources and you will be able to use inbound sources. So I'm just gonna put a topic and put the write anything for now, so that we can have a better, how can I say, a better example, so that I can play with Vantiq for you guys to see. So let me clear this. I'm gonna close this 2 tables. All right. So I could go from here. I just want to use, yeah, I like to go with the how do you call it, alphabetical order, to start showing which what each one of the activities does. Uh, but I'll be jumping, skipping a few of them and then come back. So some activities are very useful and you're gonna use all the time. So cached enrich and enrich, they're very useful, and I'm gonna show you quickly how do we use them. So for example, I'm gonna call an enrich, and in the enrich you have a property, a configuration, where you have an association with one table. So these are internal types where you have some information and that you want to bring that information from outside to your environment. In this case, I'm gonna say that I'm looking for a property, and it's going to be called equipo ID. So this equipo ID will make me search for this information here, and will bring all this information from this line and enrich that event. So let me show you, instead of test, I'm gonna write equipo ID, and I'm gonna say that it's equipo 1. So when I publish, I think I'm missing, did I get it? No, no errors. Oh, I think I forgot to save, yes. If you don't save, it won't work, so you have to save. So now that I publish, now I gotta view task event. I forgot again. So let me publish again. So now we have the event that I post, the equipo ID, and everything that was inside the table lookups with all that information. But if I do every second a publish in this topic, I'll be querying the database several times. And as you could see, I was using the same information. So one way for us to make sure that it will be faster and not be querying the database, because the type is actually a database. So to save time from querying a database all the time, what we could do is instead of using an enrich, we could use a cached enrich. You see, I just dragged the cached enrich from here, and now we have the activity here. So when I select the lookups and I say I'm looking for equipo ID, and because I didn't select any schema before, I don't have anything in this drop down. Vantiq doesn't know what it's receiving because it could receive anything. So adding to these two properties here that we're looking for, I'm gonna also add a refresh interval. So I'm gonna put, let's say, 5 minutes. So instead of going every time that I search for, I go here and get that information. Let me just close this too. Let's put a view task event. Close this one. Let me change the layout, sorry. Let me put a tile layout 2x2, okay. So now, let me put this one here. Okay, much better. So now when I publish something here, it will have cached that information. So it has cached this information, and it will put this in memory. So now every time that I publish here, it will not go to the database, to the type. It will bring from memory. So it will be much more performatic. It will be much more smart. Do you want to talk?
Can you show the stream property?
What do you mean?
Can you show the stream property box? Yeah, property box. Yeah. First
This no.
No.
This one?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, this one?
Just the configuration. 예. 그 이제 이거 보신 분 이제 되게 느낌이 오셨겠지만 이게 액티비티 패턴을 가지고서 이제 어플리케이션 만드시는 거잖아요. 결국은 그러면은 개발하는 입장에서 제일 중요한 건 뭐냐면 이 벤틱이 제공하고 있는 각각의 액티비티 패턴들이 어떤 게 있는지를 잘 알고 있어야지 프로그램을 잘 짤 수 있다라고 저는 판단이 되거든요. 그래서 그 각각의 이런 액티비티 패턴에 대한 것들이 어떤 의미를 가지고 있는지는 그 도움말 가셔가지고서 찾아보시면은 각각의 패턴별로 다 설명이 나와 있거든요. 이건 어떤 기능을 가지고 있고 어떻게 쓴다라는 거에 대해서. 그래서 그것들을 잘 읽어보시고 해보다 보면 아마 이 프로그램 개발하는데 되게 많이 도움이 되실 것 같고요. 그다음에 어쨌든 어플리케이션을 하는 게 결국은 제일 처음에 이제 인풋이 오면 인풋을 가지고서 이제 뭔가 처리한 다음에 결과값을 내는 게 사실은 이제 어플리케이션이다 보니까 이제 그 앱 빌드에서 처음으로 이제 앱을 만들게 되니까 제일 먼저 생성되는 게 이제 데이터를 받는 그 이벤트 스트림이라고 하는 게 딱 제일 먼저 만들어지잖아요. 그렇죠? 그래서 거기서 내가 어떤 걸 받을 건지를 정의하는 게 사실은 이제 프로그램의 시작인 것 같아요. 그래서 제가 이제 이 친구한테 그 속성값 그 컴퓨레이션 정보 번호창 열어달라고 한 게 뭐냐면 그 새로운 앱을 만든다고 딱 하니까 제일 먼저 만들어진 게 이벤트 스트림 박스가 하나 만들어지고 거기에서 이 친구가 제일 먼저 한 게 거기를 통해서 들어오는 정보가 어떤 건지 제가 그 설명드릴 때 데이터를 받는 방식이 크게 그 두 가지가 있다고 말씀드렸잖아요. 안에 있는 정보를 받는 거하고 밖에서 있는 걸 받는 거하고 밖에서 받을 때는 내가 소스라고 정의해 가지고서 외부 데이터를 가져오는 거고 내부에서 들어온 데이터는 이제 토픽이라고 해서 가져오는 거고 근데 여기 보니까 하나 더 있잖아요. 뭐냐면은 데이터베이스 테이블 안에 정보가 있을 수도 있잖아요. 내가 만들어 놓은 거. 그러니까 여기에 이제 그 타입에서 정의할 수도 있고 그래서 이제 인바운드 소스가 이제 결국은 세 개가 되는 거고 그 세 개 중에 내가 하나를 선택하면은 그다음에 거기에 대해서 이제 어떤 것들을 내가 표시할 수 있는지를 이제 좀 그때 밑에 이제 프로퍼티 박스에서 이제 넣을 수가 있는 거고요. 그게 이제 한 가지 의미하는 게 있는 거고 두 번째는 어플리케이션을 잘 짠다는 얘기는 결국은 동일한 걸 만들 때 로직을 얼마나 간단하게 만들어서 시스템 부하를 적게 하면서 잘 돌아가게 만드느냐가 사실 핵심이잖아요. 근데 이제 여기 보면은 이제 옵셔널 파라미터 해가지고 컨디션 같은 것들이 사실은 이제 그런 걸 할 수 있는 크게 도움을 주는 방법이라 생각이 돼요. 왜냐하면 데이터를 받아들이는데 이제 컨디션이 없으면은 아까 보시면은 뭐 10개, 20개, 100개가 쭉쭉 들어오잖아요. 근데 아까 이 친구가 컨디션에다가 조건에다 걸어 놓으니까 데이터가 다 들어오는 게 아니라 전처리 해가지고서 몇 개밖에 안 들어오잖아요. 그죠? 꼭 필요한 정보만 들어오니까 그 다음에 내가 프로그램 안에서 해야 될 일이 시스템 로드가 줄어드는 거죠. 왜냐면 처음에 내가 100개를 받아가지고 100개를 다 다음 그 프로세스로 넘겨가지고 계속 처리를 해야 되는데 이 친구가 컨디션을 걸어가지고서 100개를 다 날려버리고서 5개만 남겨놓으니까 그 다음에부터는 이제 내가 5개에 대한 것만 처리하면 되니까 그만큼 시스템 부하가 줄어들 수가 있는 거거든요. 이제 이런 것들이 사실은 벤트를 가지고서 프로그램을 잘 만들 수 있다 없다를 판단할 수 있는 그런 것들이 될 것 같아요.
I'm going to talk about. All right. So what I wanted to now, one thing that I want to show. So we were caching. We're doing a caching reach here. Okay. So let me just clear this. We could also put it here. So instead of just clicking in the view task events, you can just click on the activity and then click here. So you also see the applications here. But remember, this has been cached. If I put, for example, equal 2, take a look at what happened. Let me just push and reach. Now I'm gonna have both of them. And I wanna show you something that actually took me quite some time to understand. Equal ID. So I'm gonna clear this one, clear. Now let me save, clear, view task event. All right. So now here we have the enrich, and here we have the cache enrich. As this has been just, I just started this, there is no cache. Okay, so now I'm gonna publish. So they both have the same information, equal 1, equal 1. If I put equal 2 here, look at what happens. I'll publish. It will bring me the information on equal 2, but on the lookups, it's actually bringing the same information as before because it's bringing because of equal 1, and here it's bringing from equal 2. So enrich doesn't catch that information, doesn't cache that information. It will always go to the database and bring. While cache enrich, when he received the first time the information, he said, "Oh, I have to bring that based on the equal ID." So I brought back what he had in mind. So if we expect these things to happen, where you have multiple IDs, one thing that we can do is a split by group. So it's split by group, and now you can see that we can drop activities in the middle of the line. That means that we are putting something between these two activities. If I put a split by group in the middle, I'm telling Vantiq that I might have multiple IDs. So I want to say that I want to group by. Let me just put one thing here to make my life easier. I'm gonna use a schema of equipo. Okay. I think I might have to save. I'm gonna give an error. Yeah. Okay. And now I'm gonna say I want to use equipo ID. This is how I'm grouping by my streams. So group by window mean that during, let's say during 1 hour, I'm gonna have everything like these multiple IDs being stored in memory. And I might wanna have a maximum of, in my example here, it's gonna be five groups, 5 IDs. But let's say that you might have like 500. So it will have 1 hour, everything will be in memory, these split by group IDs, and a maximum of 500. If I have 501 different IDs, what Vantiq will do is that it will kick out, will drop the first one. If I have 502, the second one will be dropped. Same thing by the window. So, but I'm sorry, a little bit like what we have for Windows. So during 1 hour, everything will be put in memory. After 1 hour, it will be flushed, will be deleted, and then we have another thing in memory. Just so that I can better show you this, I'm gonna bring this slide because this is a little bit better to explain. So a split by a split by group, in this case in the ID, it's just like we were doing several splits. It's just like if we had equipo ID 1, equipo ID 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, but everything is in memory. So now let's see how the application behaves. So let's clear this, go back here, put it back, clear. So now I'm gonna put back again equipo 1. Let's put it like this, publish. So here you can see equipo 1, equipo 1. Again, 1 and 1. If I put 2, it's 2, 2, 2, 2. So Vantiq split the streams into several streams based in the group ID, and in memory it's creating, as you can see, this big the blue arrow. It's thicker than the simple one, because now it's just like it had multiple streams, and the activities below will behave differently. They will behave like they were receiving several different IDs instead of just one. Okay. Do you want to translate this part, or? Okay, I'll go ahead. So another application that we might interesting thing that we might see is the transformation. So transformation allows us, I'm going to put in the reach, allows us to quickly change the outcome of the data of the event. So here you can see, because of the schema because of the equipo ID that we had before, Vantiq is letting me speak a lot of the information. So just to be clear here, I said that here I had a schema called equipo, and I was enriching with the lookup table. So you can see here that I have a lot of properties, and transformation allows me to say which one of them I want to keep or what I want to do. So for example, let's say I want to keep equipo. No, actually I don't want to keep equipo. Just the ID in the location, RPMS, temp, I don't want this. So time, I'm gonna do something different. I'm gonna use a formula. I'm gonna say now. Equipo ID, no, 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 no. And this tree, I'm gonna use to play. So the temp is gonna be equal to this one, this one, this one, but the temperature is gonna be in Celsius, so Kelvin is gonna be plus 273, and the Fahrenheit, I think, I think it's this times 1.8 plus 32. I hope that's the calculation, but anyway, if it's not, that doesn't matter. So now I have to send a little bit more information to see these. So let me grab one information. I'm gonna close this one. Equipo, show records. I'm gonna display as JSON. I'm gonna grab this information here. Okay, copy. And let me, what was, write anything. Okay. So now when I send an event, I'm gonna send without this. I have a keep ID. It's gonna be, let's put something different. Let's put 5. So indoor location, uh, RPMS, temperature, and the time. So let's see the outcome. So let me close this one, close this one. Of course, I have to save. I keep forgetting. Let me view task events, clear, publish. Oops, there's something missing. Probably, of course, it's missing the last. Sure. So now we have the equipo. So the time that I put was 5:32Z. So the time here is 5:33Z. It's the time of now. And you can see the time, the C is 106. Why did it? Oh, weird. Should be 156. Huh. Oh, that's weird. I don't know why. Anyway, so it's 160, 220, and 433. So 43 is 106 plus the 32. And coincidentally, this one is 2 times this one, but it's 1.8 times times 1.8 plus 32. Huh. But that's, now I got, let me see it again. Shouldn't. Ah, okay, I know what's happening. So this enrich is bringing the information on the table, equipo, not in the table lookups. Ah, okay. I think if I do this, might break, but let me try, because it's bringing the ID, the temperature and RPMS from the equipo table. So that's, let me see what happens now. Yeah, it broke. It's missing some ID, some properties. Equipo ID. There's no equipo here. Equipo ID. Okay. Okay. Save. Generate. Publish. All right. So now it's 156. Yes. So now it's 156. 156. Ba-da-da, ba-da. So this is a good way for you. So in real time, you can see what's going on and you can debug it. So as you can see, I need a lot of this help. Another one, I'm gonna let accumulate state for a little bit later. So following the flow here. So delay, it's exactly what the name says, delay. So we're gonna say I want to delay. I can put some time. I could do some calculation. I could get something from inside my event, or I can just put, for example, let's say I'm gonna delay for 3 seconds. Okay, save. And after I publish this, let's do it again, sorry. After I publish this, you see delay has one item there, but it waited 3 seconds to publish it. So although you may see the event here, the delay will take some time. In this case, I had 3 seconds. Let's put 5 to make it clearer that it is really waiting. And this one, let me just go back here. Clear, publish. So you saw it here, 5 seconds later, you're gonna see it there. So it's basically what the name says, delay. Event stream, I'm gonna talk about it later. Join. So you can do a join between 2 events. I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I think we can provide this use a join here. So join will enable us to join two different types of two different events. So let's say that you're monitoring weather condition, and you're also monitoring the uh, the the lights. Yeah, so we are monitoring the time of the day, and you're monitoring the consumption of energy in your home. So if you want to see what time is it of the day, and you want to use and you want to join that information with the consumption, energy consumption. So you could put these two information here, and you will join these informations based in some property. In that case, I used to say, I like to say what's coming from the left has to be equal, or has to have some information to what's coming on the right. So what's coming on the left is cached and rich, and I'm gonna put cached and rich dot equal ID. In this case here has to be the same one as delay dot equal ID. It's here. So what's coming from the right, and that information we could stipulate if it's coming one after the other, if one before the other, or either. We can leave it either, or we could even leave it as blank before. And within duration. So we can say that we just want to join them if they happen, for example, in 5 seconds apart. So when one happens and another one happens 5 seconds later, we can join. If they happen 2 seconds, sorry, if they happen up to 5 seconds, we join. If they happen much later, we don't join. So I'll leave it as 3 seconds, just just to see. We can save and we can publish. Let's see if it's gonna work. As I put 3 seconds, and this one is sending after 5 seconds, we'll never see anything. If I had put here, let's say 7 seconds, 5 seconds is too short. So let's save, clear, publish. And we saw the event here. So let's see, what is this event? View task events, publish again. Here it is. So the join event actually joins the streams into one single event. So you can see here, it's one big event. The merge, on the other hand, let me put the merge here. And I'm gonna merge the delay with that. Okay. The merge, as we saw before, there's no property attached. So when I click here to see the events, sorry, save, clear, view task events, the merge, when I publish it, you see instantaneously it had the one from the left, and now it has the other event from the right. So these are not one event, there are two events that came in. If I publish again, we're gonna see two events coming from the left, and then we're gonna see two events coming from the right, as you saw here. So this is the major difference between what's the join and merge. Merge, you're just bringing together two different events, but now you're putting them through the same pipe. Join, you're getting two different events with one particular property, and you're mixing them into one big event.
Union.
Yeah, you're doing a union. Yes. Limit a little bit of what it sounds like. So this here, you're limiting the amount of events in a single period of time. So let's say instead of putting here, I'm gonna put in the other one. I'm gonna put in merge limit. So I'm gonna say that my limit I want that in 3 seconds. I want to have a maximum number of three events. So let me clear this. Let me clear this. Click here, save. Oops. Oh, I have to put the time, of course. Three what? 3 seconds. I forgot. It could be 3 minutes, 3 hours, 2 weeks, 3 years. So perfect. Now let's publish. I'm gonna publish 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So you can see here every 3 seconds it was limiting. Yeah, you can see really. Let me put it a longer time. So in the event in 15 seconds, I want to limit one. It's easier to see this way. So clear here, clear here. We're gonna see things coming on both in the cache and reach and the delay, sorry. But the limit, there was a limit there. View task events. Oh, actually, so in 15 seconds, there's nothing else coming along. Now it just came to. You see another one. So maybe we saw the one here. There you go. This based on the time window, you will put this the maximum number of events that you can see, and this is sliding time window. Um, this is limit, but let's say that instead of limit, you don't want a limit. You want to take a sample. So let me put here in cache name reach. This is actually pretty cool. Not let me get rid of some of these activities. Delete, delete, delete. Otherwise, it's gonna be too polluted. Uh, limit, delete. We don't need this. So let's keep the first event. And instead of having all of these, let's get back to only have one thing. All right. So now let me put sample. So sample is pretty interesting. So let's say that you're receiving 1,000 events per second. So instead of receiving 1,000 events per second, you could really work well with, let's say, 10%, 50%. So instead of putting a percentage, I have to put, for example, this 0.5. So I want to receive half of the events that we'll be sending, and it's going to be random. It's not going to be like 1 0 1 0. It's going to be 1 1 0 0 1 0. It's going to be half of everything that you're receiving. And I'm going to say that I want to see at least once, and this percentage will be under let's say 1 minute, so 60 seconds. And the maximum events that I want to see in this interval, let's say it's going to be 10. So okay, save. So now let me clear these two windows. Let's see, view task events. So now when I publish the first one, it will publish for me. But if I put another one, it will randomly select events for me with a 50% chance that I will see those events. As I will receive more events, it will calculate the percentage until you see I received only, I had the limit of 10. So it limited the maximum amount of events that I pushing away as 10. If I had before 100 or 200 as a limit, it would also be different. Smooth is something really important. So one thing that you need to know about Vantiq is that Vantiq, and I learned this actually in oh sorry, I forgot. I learned this in an advanced course actually. So Vantiq is a type of machine that is perfect to process a large amount of events. So this actually is good to be translated. Vantiq is made to work constantly with a large amount of events. But if you're sending, for example, 1,000 events in 1 second, and then you spend 1 minute without any events, it will take some time for Vantiq to start, let's say, start the engines, process the 1,000 events, and then we'll kind of stop again. So it's like a car, and then you're starting the car, you're moving the car, putting it to 100 kilometers an hour, and then you stop suddenly. So Vantiq was made to drive at 100 kilometers an hour, much better than accelerating to 1,000, then stopping again. Accelerating to 1,000, then stopping again. So smooth will help you make Vantiq work much better. So I had a project where I was receiving exactly this. I was receiving 3,000 events, actually, sorry, 32,000 events in 1 second, and let's say 3 seconds actually. And then I was gonna receive 32,000 more only 1 minute later. So what I made was I used Smooth to put 1 minute, and instead of and put 32,000, I think. And I can pull at 2 minutes. So this expire is the following. So in 1 minute, Vantiq will, instead of 32, let's put 30,000. So Vantiq will smoothly or equally distribute 30,000 events in 1 minute, and we would put, if I'm not mistaken, 500 per second. And after 2 minutes, if there's still events in the cache, it will then throw away. But this is the most interesting part, because now it was good for me because I could send 32,000 events in one time, and Vantiq would always process 500 events per second. So in this case, it's gonna be hard for me to simulate that, because now it's like Vantiq is already picking up to as much as I'm sending. So I'm publishing, and it's smoothing to make sure that I have, let me see if I can draw this. I think I can draw the screen. Yeah, so let me just undo. So now what Vantiq is doing, it's Vantiq's accumulating some data so that it could send a constant flow of data to be processed, instead of sending. So let's say that this is 500. This is 5. Oh my, I'm terrible here. So this is 500. So instead of sending 1,000 and then dropping, this Smooth will make me send a constant flow of events, so that Vantiq doesn't have to start, stop, start, stop. Was the explanation was okay?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to translate? Okay, go ahead.
풍요는 아니고요. 제가 볼 때 이제 이 친구가 지금까지 보여준 거는 이제 아까 제가 말씀드린 것처럼 벤틱을 사용할 때 제일 중요한 건 액티비티 패턴을 많이 알고 있어서 그걸 어떻게 써야 되는지가 되게 중요하다고 말씀드렸잖아요. 그래서 지금 각 패턴들의 차이점들 있잖아요. 유사한 패턴인데 차이점들을 좀 설명한 거고, 제가 볼 때는 이 패턴은 어차피 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 도움말을 보고서 이게 각각이 뭔지 좀 이해하고 그다음에 써보고 해야지 사실은 느끼기 때문에 그게 더 중요할 것 같고, 제가 봤을 때 정말 중요한 건 뭐냐면 벤틱이 가지고 있는 기존의 데이터베이스 기반의 블록체인 개발하고의 가장 큰 차이점은 뭐냐면 이제 계속 얘가 하다 보면은 시간에 대한 것들이 되게 많이 나오잖아요. 거의 그러니까 이제 환경을 계속 보여주는 게 뭐 2개 이상의 정보들이 이제 그러니까 랜덤하게 막 데이터가 생성이 되고 있는 상황에서 그것들을 합쳐 가지고서 뭔가 의미 있는 정보를 다시 가공해 가지고 처리해야 되는 그런 상황이 됐을 때, 그 기존의 데이터베이스 어플리케이션 같으면은 데이터가 생성이 되면 그 인풋이니까 그걸 기본적으로 1차적으로 다 이제 저장을 할 거잖아요. 그죠? 저장을 하고 그다음에 그것들이 이제 근데 그 비동기적으로 그냥 같은 인터벌을 가지고 생성되는 게 아니니까 그걸 이제 두 개를 합쳐 가지고서 또 다른 정보를 만들려면 데이터를 일단 저장하고 그다음에 다시 그거를 불러와 가지고서 비교하는 로직을 만들어야 될 거잖아요. 그쵸? 그러면 또 거기엔 또 시간이 매핑이 안 될 테니까 또 그걸 또 매핑하기 위한 작업을 해야 될 거고. 근데 아까 벤틱은 보면 대부분의 인제 데이터를 정의하고 처리하는 창안에 그 타임 윈도우라고 이 친구분이 계속 얘기를 했는데 시간에 대한 걸 정의하는 창들이 다 들어 있잖아요. 그래서 비동기적으로 막 간헐적으로 발생하고 있는 데이터들에 대해서 예를 들면은 뭐 5 초라고 하는 그 기간을 시간을 줘 가지고서 고 시간 안에 발생하는 다른 두 개의 데이터를 그 하나의 그 아이디 그러니까 관계형 데이터베이스에서 보면은 이제 뭐 외래키나 그런 게 될 것 같은데 그 하나의 키를 중심으로 해서 두 개의 정보를 합치고 그런 다음에 거기다가 인제 생성된 시간을 또 의미를 부여해 주고 그래서 이제 또 다른 정보를 만들어내고 하는 그런 것들을 이전에 그 데모를 하면서 보여줬는데 사실 그게 기존의 데이터베이스 기반의 어플리케이션에서 하려면 굉장히 힘든 작업이고 또 그걸 하기 위해서 저장하고 다시 쿼리 날려 가지고 계산하고 하는 그 리드 타임이 또 많이 걸릴 수가 있는데 물론 데이터가 많다라고 하면 데이터가 안 많으면 짧게 하겠지만 근데 얘는 지금 그런 것들을 인제 그 메모리 상에서 다 처리해 가지고서 하는 거거든요. 왜냐하면 얘는 아까 제가 저번에도 말씀드렸지만 데이터를 저장한다는 컨셉이 아니라 흘러가는 데이터를 보고 판단해 가지고서 거기서 내가 정해 놓은 액션들을 취하는 형태의 컨셉의 프로그램이기 때문에 이제 그런 것들이 이제 훨씬 빠르게 처리될 수 있다라는 게 인제 장점인 거고 그런 것들을 인제 데모상에서 인제 강의를 하면서 설명을 하지는 않지만 사실 이제 그런 것들이 내포되어 있는 그 환경들을 계속 설명을 해 주고 있는 거예요. 그래서 아무래도 그런 식의 실시간으로 데이터를 처리해야 되는 뭔가 프로그램을 만들어야 된다라고 했을 때 이 벤틱이 되게 큰 강점을 가지고 있다고 말씀을 드릴 수가 있을 것 같아요.
All right. So the next tool that I want to show is unwind and window. So let me show window really quick. So Windows is pretty easy to understand. So you can say, I want to group together, let's say 3 events in a, I'm not gonna say slide window for now. So I want to group 5 events. Sorry, 3 events. So view task events. Let's see what happened. 1, 2, 3. It grouped together. It put the information values, and you can see the 3 events that I sent separately together. If, as I didn't mark the sliding window, if I put 1, 2, 3, it will send another one. 1, 2, 3, another one. If I in here select sliding window, Vantiq will generate for me every event aggregating the last 3. So the first 2, it will send nothing. On the third one, it will send the last 3. When I publish the fourth, it will send the last 3. Again, last 3, last 3, last 3. So this can be really useful, the sliding window, when you want to calculate, for example, maybe time differences when you want to calculate something in between. But now you can see that I have one JSON with multiple values inside an array of values inside. So let's see the other one. The other one, and I'm gonna copy this. Copy. The other one is, let me delete window. I'm gonna put unwind. So unwind is quite the opposite. So unwind, I will say that I have a property, an inbound property called, in this case, values. I think it's event.value. Yeah, no, just values. Values. I hope it's, let me see if it's capital. No. So it's small letter values, and I want to generate an output called value. So, okay, save. So instead of just sending one event, I'm gonna send an array. So here we have an array. I mean, we have one property that has an array. So when I send this one, let me, oh, I have to put a view task event, publish. You see one event generated 3 other events. And each event have the value and the information of the event. I could have something a little bit different. So let me show you one example that we have in the PowerPoints easier. Uh, this one. So yeah, this one. So for example, I could receive one JSON, and inside the JSON, I might have the property with the array. So it doesn't have to be, let's say, an outside property or one global property. It could be inside the JSON, could be one property, and you say, okay, transform rates into rate. So it will create these 3 rates here. So this is another property really interesting. Sorry, activity pattern really useful. So let's talk a little bit. I'm gonna come back to the others that I skipped a little bit to the end, although it's already 3 p.m. So let me just close here and delete this. I'll think about it later. So I kind of showed filter before. So filter is when you only allow to pass, for example, let's say value, a property if event dot value equals 1, 2, 3. So now instead of filtering in the beginning, I'm filtering later. So I'm only allowing to pass this one if it's 1, 2, 3. If it's anything else, it won't pass. It won't do anything. So you may use this, and sometimes I have used. For example, if I want to, let's say, I want to have events from 1 to 3. I cannot start with the number f1 to 3. I want f1 to 3 passing in here, and I want the f4, 5, 6 passing in the other one. So this one I'm gonna filter with 1, 2, 3, and this one I'm gonna filter with event.value equals 4, 5, 6. Well, actually the equal. Okay, save. So you could have like a different processing for 1, 2, 3. If it's 4, 5, 3, nothing happens. 4, 5, 6, this one goes through. I mean, goes through here. And 1, 2, 3 goes through the other one. So this is very useful. Missing, also useful when you actually, let's say you're monitoring you're monitoring the events sent from a car. So it's also very used along with the split by group. So you're monitoring the events being sent by one sensor, and you say, oh, if in 5 seconds I don't see anything, I want you to emit an event. Can be just one event, or keep emitting events every 5 seconds later, or every 1 second later if it doesn't happen anything. So again, as we started, missing has not received any event, so it didn't start it yet. So now that I send the first one, I'll have to send it every 5 seconds, or actually below 5 seconds. Otherwise, missing will start sending events. So now I stopped. So we'll see missing event being sent every 5 seconds because it hasn't seen anything in that period of time. Let's see another one. So now I'm back sending events. So the missing will stop sending events. So this could be really useful for you to monitor if a sensor is working, if you're receiving something. So this could be like if the door is open or the door is closed, and the sensor is just sending events if the door is closed. Otherwise, you start let's say an alarm. But let's say that you don't want to be so simple. You don't want to do something so simple as this. So let's say that you want to do a dwell. A dwell is when you want to look for a property, situation, a condition. So let's say that I'm looking for event dot value again 1 2 3, but this has to happen, has to be true over a period of, let's say, 5 seconds. So I have to receive that same information in a period of five, 5 seconds. Let's put a different value, a different term, so that makes more sense in our heads. So I'm monitoring to see if it's too hot, if it's, let's say, over 100 degrees. So this makes sense in our head, in our minds. So I'm gonna send an information of a temperature of 50, 60 degrees. So I sent, nothing happened. So let's also see what shows here. So I can send many things and it would not do anything. I put 5 seconds. So if I send, let's say, a temperature, let's say a 6,000, didn't send anything. And if I send back 60, under 5 seconds, it will understand, oh, that is, it has returned to let's say regular value. So now it didn't send anything. But let's say now that I sent 600, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So during a period of 5 seconds, I kept sending that temperature of 600. So now the dwell sent me the event. And look, just once, it's not sending me 10,000 events saying, oh, temperature is high, temperature is high. So this is a really good way to create an action, to create an alert without sending 10,000 events or every 5 seconds an event. We're just looking for one condition. That condition was met, you send that alert. Uh, threshold, threshold is a little bit similar, but very different. So I'm gonna put the same condition. So if the event temperature is over 100 degrees, but in this case, I'm gonna show you a little bit of the situation. So true. What happens when it's true? I'm gonna put also like 3 consecutive readings. The other configurations I'm not gonna get into it now. So let me show you the task events. Oh, I have to save this. Save. Oops. The task event. So this is looking for when temperature is over 100, if there are 3 consecutive readings, and I set it to true. So when we reach that 3, so let's say now it starts with 60. So it's 60 now, and now it's 600. So it's above 100. 1, 2, 3. There's our event. But let's say, let's clear this. Let's say I start with 60, 1, another, let's go to 600, 1, 2, and now I'm back to 60. So when I'm back to 60, I go back to the, in English, we would put I forgot in English, Portuguese anyway. So now we are back to ground zero. We are back to where we were. So 60, so nothing is sent. But if I go again, 1, 2, 3, we see our threshold. What happens if I put false instead of true? What happens if I put the directions false? So this would mean instead of temperature, I'm going to change it to volume. So if the volume is above 1,000 liters, let's imagine this. So now we're monitoring a water tank. So the water tank has to be above 1000 over 3 consecutive readings to start this. So I'm sending 600, 600, 600. I'm gonna send 1200. 1, 2, 3. Nothing happened. 3 again. 4, 5. Nothing happened. But let's say that now my water tank is at 1000. Publish. 999. Publish. Publish. So you saw it. After 3 consecutive readings below that value, so we saw I put higher than 1000. So I put 1000, 99, 99, poof, it sent me the threshold. So if I put again, let's say 600, and I put 6000, 1, 2, 3, it got the threshold. If I go back to 660 or six, let's put 600, 1, 2, 3, another threshold. So when it's false, it's when on, let's say, on the way above the limit. Let me draw a little bit, annotate. So it's, let's say this line is the limit. So when I put like 1, this is the reading, 1 reading, 2 readings, 3 readings. So when I put 1000, it was over there, it still went over there, and then it went down. So it was 1, 2, 3 readings, tribal lines, but 3 readings. Then we had the event here. If we put just a last explanation, if we put both, so we'll see 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. So let's see, let's save it. I'm saying I'm spending time in these applications, these parameters, because application tasks, because it's important for you guys to know. So if I put like 1, let me just put here, 1, 2, 3, it's still below. Let's put 6000, 1, 2, 3, threshold. Let's put below 1, 2, 3, another threshold. So if we keep pushing 600, 600, 600, it will not send, because it hasn't gone over the threshold again. It's still below. It's still below. I'm trying to draw here. Oh, I have to put this. It's still below. So only when I go the threshold above 1, 2, 3, it will become true. And then 1, 2, 3 below, 1, 2, 3 will become the false in this one here and in this one here. Okay. All right. So I wanted to spend some time with you guys here in this activity tasks. I'm gonna talk a little bit about the others that I haven't talked, but I'm gonna be a little bit faster. Okay. Log stream is to literally, let me just delete this task. Log stream is to literally store what you're doing, the event stream in the log. The procedure will allow you to call a procedure that you have created using Veil inside of Vantiq. You can pass along some parameters. You can specify what you're gonna do with the value. You can return a single property from the object, and you can specify what's the schema that you're gonna see. Log stream, you can say where you're gonna store the event, if it's gonna be an error, a warning, info, debug, a trace. Publish to source, as the name says, you specify, oh, not this one, my bad. This procedure. Publish to source, this one. So you specify what's the source that you wanna, let's say you wanna send that information, and you configure the properties, or the properties that you're gonna send along with the event in this source. Similar is published to topic. Oops, my bad. Similar is published to topic. You then publish something to a topic. Record event. I showed this yesterday. When you have, you're gonna record all the events in the ledger of uh, the catalog. Save to type. You're just saving that information back to a type. So you specify what is the type that you want to save, and you say if you're gonna save or insert or update. Start collaboration. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow. I cannot put there. I'm gonna talk about this tomorrow in detail about collaboration. So you just need to know that this calls a collaboration, and you can have one already built for you, or you can create a new one from scratch. Math. So you have one application called rate. One activity pattern called rate. The rate allows you to tell you, for example, let's say that in 5 seconds, how many events have I seen? And also okay. And you wanna say every 5 seconds you're gonna say how many events have you seen in 1 minute. Okay, so it will count the amount of events in the last 1 minute, and every 5 seconds it will tell you that how many events it's seen. Statistics, similar. It's not similar actually. You're gonna look into one property, let's say the temperature. Let's say again, every 5 seconds, it will send you the statistics of maximum number, minimum number, mean, average, and the standard deviation using one of these 4 types of algorithms. So let's say a sliding time window, and over the period of 1 minute. So it will calculate this one is actually, let me show you. Let me get rid of everything. Yeah, let me get rid of everything. I think it's gonna be easier if I close and open it again. Yeah. So late threshold. The last one is statistics and time difference. Let's put these two together to show them. So I'm gonna talk about I have volume there every 3 seconds. Okay, let's use a sliding time window, and every 1 minute. The time difference, there's nothing here, just calculates the properties. The name of the property will be time diff. That's gonna be the amount of time between two activities. So let's view this one. I have to save it. I always forget to save. Close. View task event. View task event. I'm gonna send this, let's say 600, 607. Let's put it every 3. So here you can see it's sending me the count, the mean, the maximum, the minimum, the maximum, the median, and the standard deviation. And the other one sent me the time difference between the previous events. So I could use that to calculate something. I don't know what would be the that I needed, but this would be something useful. There is, let me go back to accumulate state. Accumulate states allows you to run. Let me just put it. I'm not gonna show you that much, but this one, I'm gonna grab a PowerPoint. This one allows you to put an output property and run a procedure to to calculate that information. So let me show you here. No, not the introduction. Let me see the activity, the application. Split by group, accumulate state. It doesn't have. I thought I had an example here, but in the help section you have you have all these, because this takes a little bit of time to create. So you could create a procedure that will read a property from the event, transform, and put that property back in the event. A little bit like the procedure, but with the idea that you're always summing something, accumulating something. And I didn't specifically talk about vision. So vision, as you can see, we have 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 9 activities. Vision activities based on the idea that you're sending as one of the objects, one of the events, an object containing a picture, for example. So this picture you can run object detection in this picture or in this document, and you would be able to identify objects, or you can see the build and predicted path. Like you're seeing that something is moving inside the picture, you can see what is the path that object is following. You can convert that object to coordinates and plot and to be plotted on a map. And let me, oops, my bad. Just wanted to put it bigger here. So you can use YOLO or TensorFlow to detect objects and put that in the detected objects in the image. And the vision script, let me see if I can put it here. Yes, you can do some of that things. Like, for example, you can find faces. You could convert to grayscale. You could resize, crop. You could ask Vantiq to describe what's seen in the picture and put that as a JSON for you. So whenever you start working with objects or with images, this is going to be really useful for you. And this is really useful, especially when you're running on the edge, where you can do this object recognition, and instead of sending all the image, all the video streaming to the cloud, you're actually analyzing that image on the edge before sending to the cloud. So this was application builder. You're gonna do that in your lab, but now Shangan is gonna talk a little bit about it. I just put a node one here.
너무 많이 얘기해서 사실 제가 다 기억을 못 하겠고요. 일단 제가 여기서 약간 이제 들으면서 의미 있게 봤던 거는, 아까 제가 잠깐 말씀드렸을 때 벤틱에서 이제 사실은 이게 로우 코드이기 때문에 프로그램을 만드는 건 되게 쉽다고 말씀드렸잖아요. 근데 그러면 어떻게 효율적으로 만드느냐가 되게 중요한데, 아까 이제 이 친구가 이제 여러 가지 보여주면서 필터링 관련된 여러 가지 또 액티비티 패턴들 보여줬잖아요. 이제 거기서 약간 좀 의미할 수 있는 건 뭐냐면, 아까 이제 이 친구가 필터를 거는데 필터를 이제 드래그 앤 드롭을 갖다 놓고 필터에다가 인제 어떤 값이 이렇게 아까 온도였나요? 온도가 100도 이상 100도일 때 필터해라. 그런 식으로 아까 드웨이도 마찬가지로 100도 이상이 며칠 이상 지속될 때 해라. 스레시홀드도 마찬가지로 그렇게 했었잖아요. 그것들이 있는데, 아까 그전에 아까 데모 이 친구가 이제 강의하면서 했던 게 뭐냐면, 필터 걸기 전에 이벤트 스트림 안에서도 사실 컨디션 줘 가지고서 조건이 뭐가 됐을 때 아예 거기서 걸러버리는 것도 있었잖아요. 그러니까 이게 우리가 이제 통제하는 조작하는 방법이 되게 여러 가지가 있을 수가 있는데, 그거를 우리가 어느 시점에서 그걸 거는 게 가장 효과적일까를 생각해 보는 게 좀 의미 있는 게 아닐까 싶은 생각이 좀 들고, 그다음에 그런 것들을 이제 그러면은 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 내가 이벤트 스트림에서 그 레벨에서 컨디션을 줘 가지고서 걸고서 나머지 행위를 할 거냐, 아니면 이벤트 스트림에서 받은 다음에 그다음에 필터를 갖다 놓고서 거기서 뭔가를 할 거냐, 그런 것들이 사실은 좀 이제 우리가 이 벤틱 기반으로 프로그램을 만들 때 좀 고민해야 될 부분이 아닐까 싶습니다. 또는 부수적으로 아까 말씀드린 것처럼 이게 사용을 해 봐야지 좀 알거든요, 계속해서 말씀드리지만. 그래서 거듭 말씀드리지만 제가 이제 미리 나눠 드렸던 랩 매뉴얼 보시고서 거기에 나온 랩을 따라해 보면은 그 랩 안에서 인제 이 앱 빌드에서 인제 사용법에 대해서 나오고 그중에서도 이제 액티비티 패턴들을 갖다 놓고서 설계하는 방법이 나오니까 거기에 이제 실제 많이 사용하고 있는 패턴들이 쭉 나오거든요. 고거 좀 써 보시면서 아 이게 그러면은 아까 뭐 조인하고 그다음에 머지였나요? 고거의 차이라든지 또는 뭐 필터하고 듀얼하고의 차이라든지 그런 것들을 좀 직접적으로 좀 느껴보실 수 있을 것 같아요. 네.
So now we're going to talk a little bit about Veil, the language. So this is not complicated. So although there's 30 slides, it's not complicated. Veil is what we just developed for Vantiq. So Veil is Vantiq automation and integration language. It's optimized for stream processing and distributed processing in Vantiq. So it's a combination of SQL and JavaScript. So some of these basic syntax is pretty similar in all the other languages. So if you want to comment out the code // or slash asterisk slash, the variables they need to be declared. So you have, if you want to have like a integer I equals 0, you have to say var I equals 0. You don't need to say it's an integer. You don't need to say it's a real string. You just go ahead and say var. You put the name of the var, the variable, and that's it. We don't use semicolons. So Veil is every line is one of the is the command itself, and there's no functions, but you can create procedures to call other procedures. And one thing that many times drives me crazy is null is not null like in SQL with capital letters. It's with small letters. And many times I forget about this and I put null like if I equals null with all capital letter, and Vantic complained with me like, oh, there's no variable called null. And I said, well, I'm not saying variable. I kind of get confused in the beginning, but you get used to it. So dynamic typing. So this is interesting. So you can say variable A equals a string. You can see variable B equals a number. And for example, if variable C equals A plus B, you would have a concatenation of a string. But if you say now that A is equal B to B, A now is going to be equals to 2. So it's not, you're not assigning the variable to be one specific thing. It might change at any time. The operators, very similar to any other language. Plus equal will sum the previous number before. So it's like b equals b plus 2. B plus plus increments the number. 3 times 2 is like 3 squared. 11 divided per 10, but now you just want the what's left, so it's the module. The comparison in Veil is with two equals, or if you want to compare not, it's exclamation equal. You can use, whenever you want to use two conditions, you can use the condition and capital letters, or you can use and ampersand and ampersand. In Portuguese, we say commercial E. I don't know how you say that in Korean, but, or you can use capital letters or pipe. We have different types of variables. Some of them pretty standard, like strings, integer, real, decimal, currency. Whenever it's, so this is an integer. Sorry, this is an integer. This is real. It's out of order. This also could be a decimal, and this is a currency. So whenever you're talking about currency, you have to have, it's almost like a string. You have to have the first three letters of the currency you're using. Boolean, true or false. Date time. Date time always have to be in the ISO type, ISO format. So let me just show you this. Where's Vantiq? Here it is. Let me just, let's see, view task events. Come on. Okay. So the time here. Oh, come on, zooming. Okay. So where's time? Here's time. So this is the standard way that Vantiq will store it. So it's what we call the ISO type format. Year dash month dash day T for time, then hour, minute, second, milliseconds, and Z for Zulu time. So this is what this means. Always return dates in Zulu time, especially the function now. Now will always return in Zulu time. You can have a resource reference. Oops, my bad. Inside of the of a basic type, GeoJSON. So it can be a point, can be a linear GeoJSON, or can be a polygon. And we have extended types. So you could have an interval, looks like a string, but that's different. It's an interval, like 10 seconds, 10 hours, 10 minutes, 10 weeks, in regular expressions. So this is a regular expression. I really don't know what exactly that means. Um, I know you can substitute something like I expect a P in the beginning and maybe a W in the end, and anything else after that. Not sure, but you can always search tools in the internet to help you build the regular expressions. Um, we have arrays. So in this case, you can create an array just assigning it to a variable. So var my array equals 1, 2, 3 Fred. We don't have to have an array everything from of a string, everything from an integer. You can have an array of any type of objects. So the first element of this array will be the element 0. In this case, will be 1. If you assign to element 6 Mary, so the number of items in this array will actually be 7, because this is 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you would have seven items. To work with the array, you have some operations like length, pop to remove the last one. You can push to insert one element to the end. You can sort, and you have other operations that you can use in with arrays, with strings, and no, it's not here. In the developer guide, you can find them all here. So I never know them by heart, so I'm always here. So if I want to do something with arrays, I click array, array functions. Let's see, strings. So string procedures, that's it. So string procedures, you have the procedures like concat or to integer, to decimal, to currency, and you have some utility procedures. Let me just find array. So it's not in this page. Yeah, I several times. Jesus, I'm really so array procedures. I'm really bad in typing array. So here you have like a concat, fill, include, index of, last index of, search, push, pop, reverse, whatever. So you have these procedures that you can use. I'm just pointing them out because I never know them by heart. It's important that you know where to find them, so you can try to. Let's say you want to slice something, you want to shift, you want to reverse, but you don't know how to use it. Just go here in documentation. Vantiq, that is something really that I'm proud of. Vantiq. It's very well documented. Let me get back to the slides. This is interesting. So why we talk a lot about objects in Vantiq. So why is objects so important? In Vantiq, everything is object. Everything is a JSON document. So when we are publishing, we publish an object. We publish a JSON object. We when we do an insert, select, update into a type, we're using objects. When we do for, so we loop, this is the only way to loop, using a for. Again, sometimes I don't remember how to do a loop. We just come in here, loop, sorry, not this one. Search, loop. So there's your for. That is one thing that is funny. For example, I search loop, I found for. If I search for, it won't bring me anything. So this is not the Vantiq documentation. This is the search engine that we have. But you can see if you search for loop, you find it. So there's some ways to do the loop. But I think there's a slide for this. So I'm not gonna jump ahead of myself. You have like for, you have execute, you have try, catch, finally, and other type of documents, that type of operations that will always use an object. Behind the scenes, these are all stored and represented as JSON inside our MongoDB. We don't have and we don't offer direct access to MongoDB. So Vantiq, that's why we also created Veil, to enable the developer to access the types and access the information without having to think about how to store it, how to access that information in the database, and to protect each namespace from access from other namespaces, from other developers. So each namespace is its own world. When you store an object, you can store using the quotes in the properties. You can sometimes avoid the usage of the quotes in the properties. I try to use quotes everywhere to make sure that I don't forget, because in JavaScript, when you're creating the client builder, you need the quotes, otherwise it will fail. So I keep the quotes everywhere. You can reference a property of your object by just saying object.name. In this example here, I have object.address, and you have like street and zip code. If I just want the zip code, it will be object.address.zip code. And if you want to present your object, your JSON as a string, there's an operation called stringify, a procedure called stringify that will transform everything you have in a string. Although it may look like a string, it's not a string. We have the if then else. So if you have then the statement, else if, as many else ifs that you need, and finally else. We have the for. So we have some ways to use for. You can have, usually we do a lot of fors when we're iterating into a sequence. So for example, or a set. So let's say I have an array of people. So for people in array of people, and I can put until terminating condition there, and it will just loop. So you can also loop over an array. So for all in orders, you're just going to be looping that. And you can put the next slide, there's a terminating condition. And you can also loop over a range. So it's the equivalent to for I equals 1, while I less than 10, you increment I, and then you just loop it, and you're doing something. To the termination condition will be checked every time the loop ends. Sorry, the loop iterates. So for all in orders until bigger order found, or that means until this is equals true, it will iterate. So the first iteration here, if O dot total is higher than 1000, then big order found equals true. It will put the ID in big order and will keep iterating until it finds it's equal to true. This is not a break. We don't have breaks in Vantiq, but it's a nice way to exit if you need. So I showed a little bit of the built-in procedures that we have to format a string. So we have like string format string. You substitute the P0 and P1 for the. So this is P. Oops, sorry. This is P0. This is P1. So the variable here is gonna be 0. The variable here is gonna be the third one. This one is gonna be the second one. So it would be like customer Acme has 8 orders outstanding and 6 invoices outstanding. So this is the way to populate or substitute the strings. Math functions, you may have absolute values, random float, and so many others. You have logging features, so you can put like log error, log info, log verbals, log warning, and put the information that you want anywhere in your code, including some variables that you want to change. To see the logs, I'm gonna talk about this on Friday. So actually, I'm gonna talk about this later. So don't worry right now. So we have try. You put the statement, catch error, then you put the error processing, and finally, what you're gonna do if there's an error or after the processing. So there's an example. I'm not gonna be reading through the examples, otherwise you guys are gonna fall asleep. So exceptions, we can also create exceptions in your code. So you can put exception, code, message, and parameters. You can throw an exception whenever you find it an activity or something that you were expecting or not expecting. Publish. So if you want to publish a message to a topic to a source, you can publish an object to a topic and then you say the name of the topic. The topics again do not have to be predefined; they're dynamic. And you can also create the message right on the fly. You can put for example, publish object. The object in this case is temperature 87.4, sensor ID, blah, 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 to topic sensor data. Or you can create the object before, and then you say publish reading to topic, blah, blah, blah. We can also create scheduled events. So as I said before, when we were talking about the application builder, Vantiq doesn't do anything unless it receives an event. So because of that, you sometimes you may want to say, oh, I would like this to happen every 5 seconds or every 10 seconds. How could I do it? You could create a scheduled event for every 5 seconds to publish something into a topic. And by something, I literally mean anything. So you can put anything being published into a topic every X amount of seconds, repeatedly, or let's say just once in 2 hours or once tomorrow at 8 a.m. So you can schedule exactly when you want this to happen, being repeatable or not repeatable. And you can also define this in code and in Veil, so that when something happens, you want that, let's say that you want the person to, I'll give you a real example. So somebody ordered a food, and this food it has 15 seconds to be acknowledged by the system. Otherwise, the request is canceled. So when you send a message, let's say coupon, you send a message to coupon and say, I want to buy something in McDonald's. So that store in McDonald's have 15 seconds to send me back the confirmation. Otherwise, that request is canceled. So I will automatically create an event in 15 seconds from now to cancel the order. But if the order is accepted, then I will delete that scheduled event before it runs. So here's an example of doing this by code, and I'm gonna show you how to do that on the UI. So by code, you can create like publish, name granite to topic, and then you put the name of the topic, and then you schedule. You put the schedule interval equals 1 minute. Uh, you can put that, for example, another one for 2 days from now. So you create an object 2 days from now equals now plus millis 2 days. It's another interval. It's not a string. And then you publish. You put the name of the publish that you created, granite to topic. I'm sorry, this is not the name. This is the object. To topic, my topic, so topic, scheduled. It will occur at 2 days from now. So this one, it's gonna be in 1 minute from now. This one is gonna be at this exact time. And this could also have a periodicity. So every, let's say every 5 minutes, it will send this name grenade to topic, my topic, blah, 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 and this schedule will have a name grenade event. I know this is kind of a little bit confusing. So if you want to generate a schedule event at the beginning, you can do that through the UI. So in Vantiq, you can come here, add, advanced, is schedule event. Oh, my bad, clicked before. Schedule event. And you can say, as you can see, Vantiq sometimes do that too. So you can say demo training. That's the name. I want to publish in demo topic this message, or I could say I want to publish vol 1000. It's gonna be periodic or not. It's gonna be active or not. Let's deactivate it right now. Periodically starting now. Periodically starting at, let's say, tomorrow. Let's say 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Okay, and the interval is gonna be 5 seconds. When we put this in the interface in Vantiq, it's going to store that information in Zulu time. So it would be putting as 2400 or 2500 actually, or 2411 p.m., something like that. So when I save this, it will store in my schedule event storage or schedule events here. Advanced schedule event. I call it demo training. So here it is, demo training, and I can delete it, or I could delete it by code as well. So I just come here, delete. I got some others that I created. I'm gonna delete this one too. They're gonna clean up in a second. What else? So I've talked about this, about Veil, talked about application builder. Still have some time. Okay, sorry. Go ahead. All right, bye bye. See you tomorrow.